Yeah. First off, just want to thank all the subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Today, what I want to do is I want to break down and give my opinion of the 1983 movie Bad Boys. So this is a movie starring Sean Penn and Esai Morales as very young actors. And I'm going to get into the similarities between their universe and the California Youth Authority. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. For those who have never seen this movie, I do have to warn, there are going to be some spoiler alerts. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it and then come back and check out the video. Let me know what you think. So it starts off with Sean Penn, who is playing a character named O'Brien. So O'Brien is, he basically uses a crowbar, smashes a window to a woman's car. She's at a red light. He ends up taking her purse, taking off, runs through an alley. You have a civilian, a regular casual Joe that's trying to play a superhero. He ends up running after him, and he walks in a dark alley looking for O'Brien. O'Brien ends up beating the shit out of him and taking his wallet too. It sucks, but it's something that was pretty common, at least back in the day, where you had people trying to stand up for regular people who are being victimized, which is admirable, but they're not willing to go all the way, and they don't understand the desperation that these people committing these crimes are facing. So if you go in there with good intentions, but you have someone who's desperate and feels like they're fighting for their life, it may be a challenge that you are not equipped to fight. So unfortunately, he ends up getting the shit beaten out of him, and O'Brien takes his money too. So we end up going to visit the next character, which is Paco, played by Esai Morales. He's about to come up on some big time, like a big time score, right? And he's gonna try to get rid of it. Him and his crew are about to get paid. His little brother wants to go with them, and you could see he has a real affection and love for his little brother. His mom's like, nah, she doesn't want the little brother to end up like him. So she's like, nah, he has to stay in the house, right? So that's setting up something for the movie right there. So we end up going, and this is a part I didn't understand. So he has his briefcase with whatever it is in there. I think it's pills. I don't remember actually, but he has his briefcase, and you have the crew he's trying to slang it to. They're low key trying to rob him, or not even low key, like they're trying to rob him, and his boys are strapped. Bam. So Paco's boys are ready for that. And instead of like giving it to them, they walk away, which I was like, what the fuck? Because you have to remember, on the streets, if you can't allow somebody to rob or attempt to rob you, you have to come back. You have to get them. And he let them go, which is a huge sign of weakness. And I was just like, I didn't understand that. I don't know why they did that. So that had me a little confused right there. So we end up moving to see the next setup here, which is Paco and O'Brien meeting for the in the movie for the first time. You could see there's a bit of hostility. There's a bit of tension. Not really enemies, but more like rivals. There's definitely a rivalry there. Disrespectful relationship. Maybe if they were just regular kids, they could just meet after school and, throw hands and leave it at that. But these are two young street-involved criminals. My bad. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Then you get to see the movie setting up for something again. So we showed Paco's brother, who we loved. Now we're showing what O'Brien has. The only thing he really has is his girlfriend, JC. So that's what he loves. So you're showing that there's stuff outside of the lifestyle that they have to look forward to and that they love, right? You have Paco with his brother, and you have O'Brien with his girlfriend. So we end up moving forward to this is like, again, I think Paco and his crew showing that weakness, not getting off on the cats that try to rob him, came back to bite them in the ass. Because now you have everybody trying to rob him. You had the cats who were trying to rob him originally, and O'Brien, there's a big old gun like shootout. Like these fools are just shooting at each other. Baco loses someone, the other crew loses someone, O'Brien loses his boy. Like it's just bloodbath for real. It's nuts, man. All for money. You see the level of desperation, right? So these cats are just gunning each other down, and it shows you what they're willing to do to get paid, and it's a fucked up thing. So O'Brien ends up going in a high speed chase. The cops are about to cut him off. He cuts, and he ends up hitting Baco's brother, killing him. Car blows up like it's crazy. So it's fucked up, man. Like imagine Paco, like what he's going through. He lost his brother, and then finding out who did it. A cat he had a little rivalry with. So that turns that into a blood feud now. So O'Brien ends up going to, and I like the in the court. They won't say he was sentenced. They say because he's a juvenile, he's committed to Rainford Juvenile Correction Facility. So justice with mercy. Oh man, yeah, probably not. But yeah, he's sent to Rainford, right, which is like a CYA kind of for Illinois. I'm not sure if it really is, but in this world it is. So they end up going over there, and for me, this part really trips me out too. Like I was like, what the fuck? Because people are spitting on him. And I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, there's no way you're gonna just walk in and allow people to spit on you. And then the people that spit on you, they're not gonna have respect for you because they just spit on you. Like, so that was something I didn't understand. I was like, what the fuck? So that was kind of strange to me. But whatever, it's Hollywood. They do things a different way. So, but I don't think that would have flew even over there. He ends up meeting his bunkie, this kid named Horowitz, and it kind of shows you the level of criminal because he's in the worst, like the worst storm. They said the kind of level of youth offenders that are there with them. This kid is busted for like burning down. I think he said a skate. Was it an arcade or a skating rink? And he killed 3 people. Not the 3 people he wanted to kill, but he killed 3 other people. So you have like people who are in there for some heavy shit. So yeah, both of them are in there for murder. For him multiple murders, and yeah. So it shows that. Then we end up skipping over to Paco talking to his mom, and this part kind of really was like, damn man, that's fucked up. Because his mom is grieving, his little sister's grieving. Like fuck, it's fucked up, man. Like just thinking about it, kind of like it's sad. They're taking Paco's little brother's stuff and putting it in a box. Like they're not gonna see him ever again. It's a fuck. His little sister is holding his toys. Like it's a fucked up thing, man. For real. The mom is in tears, and Paco, I don't know if he don't have love in his life or what. What the hell happened with this kid? But he says, I can't let them do that to me. Dog, it's not about you at this point. It's about your mom. It's about your little sister. Like, look at what's happening in front of you. But he's so in his head that he can't allow it. Like, he doesn't realize that it's his little brother that was killed. He doesn't realize that it's his mom that's hurting. It's his little sister. It's his family that's being torn apart. And could they take another loss? He's not thinking about any of that. The only thing he's thinking about is, I can't let them do this to me. Like, damn, man, it's crazy because I remember those feelings, and I remember that, like, when you're on the streets, a lot of the times you don't think about anything else but you. But looking back and seeing the family, it kind of sucks to see that because the family needs him at that point, but he doesn't want to be there for them. He is so involved with what he wants to do that all he's thinking about is vengeance. It's a crazy thing, man, for real. So we end up going back, and this is another part that kind of bothered me, because you have this kid Viking who just thinks he's the shit, right? He walks around punking everybody, taking what he wants, skipping the line, and he does it all in a very disrespectful manner. For me, I was just thinking like, You can have a top dog. You can have a cat that has a lot of influence, but he has to treat everybody respectfully. There's no way you're gonna go in there acting like you're the shit, punking everybody. Somebody's gonna fight back. Like they're not gonna allow that shit. They're gonna be like, you could do that to everyone else. You would do that shit to me. You're gonna have somebody with that attitude. So I'm surprised a lot of times multiple cats, because that's why you can't allow it to happen. So that's why I was kind of tripping out on this part. Like, what the fuck? That's kind of weird, right? And we end up seeing Viking fucking with O'Brien. They're kicking his shit over, and it's just like it's crazy, man. It's just like these fools are just going around punking whoever they want. And again, but at the same time, I could see if O'Brien's a case or whatever, like them giving his life hell and him allowing that to happen. I could kind of see that too. But to me, it was just like way off. You know what I mean? Then O'Brien goes to see his case manager, or caseworker or whatever, and it's kind of crazy because it reminds me of he's trying to talk to him and O'Brien doesn't know what to say. And a lot of the times when you're a youth offender, that's what it is. They talk to you and you don't know what to say. You don't know how to act. They're using terms that are above your head a lot of the times. They're talking about concepts you're not familiar with, and it's a trip. It is, because you really don't have any representation. You don't know how to respond. You don't want to say the wrong thing. So it's like a lot of times you just stay quiet and you get fucking in trouble. It's a trip, man. So yeah, I just thought that was a trip, and that's something that I could definitely relate to. Caseworkers all in your face, and you don't know what, like in our case it was parole agents, all in your face trying to talk to you, and not even that, even YCCs, and you don't know how to respond. You're just like, oh, I don't fucking know, like I don't know. So yeah, it's a trip, man. So next we go. It's this sad part. So they end up having their way with this kid, right? Uh, they go into his room, and it's fucked up, man. It's a fucked up thing. They end up taking advantage of him, and he comes out with a knife, which is kind of weird too, because he was strapped. So I wondered, like, why did he book him as soon as they came in the room? Like, bam, fuck that shit. So he was strapped, but I guess they still were able to overpower him, and everybody's watching, right? Everybody's watching. They know what's going on. Vikings out there sitting, like, leaning against the rails, like he's all cool. They're on the upper tier. And after homie does what he does, the kid comes out with a knife. Like, fuck that shit. I'm going to book this fool. I think he slices him real quick. But they end up disarming him, picking him up. You can see right here. And they threw him in front of everybody. And that's a long fucking way down. Even though it's only 2 stories, poor youngster ends up hitting his head and dying. And nobody snitches. They get away with it, but it kind of sends a message to everybody where, like, these cats aren't playing, right? So O'Brien thinks he's about to get victimized next. They're giving him warning signals that he's next. So he goes old school with the pack, pillowcase, sodas, and just beats the fuck out of them. Whoops the shit out of Viking, beats the shit out of the guy that raped the other kid and threw him over the thing. So it was just like he just beats the shit out of him. And to me, that's some YA shit right there, where it's like they're gunning for you, so you gotta strike first. And that's what he did. He got the pack and packed him out. Bam, take that, motherfucker. And he becomes the guy, which is kind of crazy. Everybody's afraid of him now, which I was like, these are the same cats that were spitting on him. I don't know. That was hard for me to buy. Like, I could understand, like, oh yeah, we have respect for him, but it's hard for me to buy that he's the guy. He just got spit on not too long ago, right? He does one little thing and now he's the fucking guy. Like, I don't know. That was kind of difficult. Like, for me, I was kind of tripping on that one. So, and he's punking people now. Now, this is a fucked up part right here. So Isai Morales, or not, Paco, is in the car, and he's stalking JC, which is O'Brien's girlfriend. He's stalking her, and they think it's gonna be a robbery, but it's not. They end up beating her down, and he ends up taking his mask off. Paco. His partner's like, "What the fuck? She saw your face. What are we gonna do?" And he wants her to see his face because he wants to send a message to O'Brien. You took the thing that I love. This is what I did to you. So yeah, he ends up sexually assaulting her and beating her up, and she of course identifies him. So and think about this, like Paco's tripping because his his family is losing him now. Not only did they lose their little brother, but they lost him, and they lost him for a sexual assault charge. Like what the fuck? I don't know. It just if I were the mom, like why the fuck would you do that? Like what the hell? This shit makes no sense. But to him, it's because he wants to punish O'Brien. O'Brien ends up escaping. Him and Horowitz have this plan to escape, and he is able to see his girl, but his girl's dad calls the cops, and he's sent back. He's sent back to the Rainford. When he gets back, and he ends up finding out that Paco is this. To me, this is another thing that didn't make sense. So Paco's in the same dorm as him. They said they didn't have any other room anywhere else. But it's like, why not keep him in juvenile hall until you make room? Or why not put him in another dorm where they won't bump heads? Right? So for me, I was just kind of like, that's really, like, I don't know, unlikely. If you knew these cats are beefing like this and they victimized each other, one killed one's brother and the other raped the other's girlfriend, like why would you put them together? But they end up in the same place, and it's the same thing, same thing. They meet face to face, and it's kind of like Paco's not going out. He does get spit on too, which I thought was kind of weird too. Another time I was just like, what the hell? But when he first gets there, but I don't think I screenshotted that. But yeah, he ends up getting spit on too, which I thought was weird as hell. But they meet face to face, and Paco is trying to undermine his authority. And Viking, being the punk that he is, he ends up being like, "Oh, I'm gonna be on your team now." Like, fuck you, fool. You got your ass whooped. You didn't do shit. But Paco doesn't really care. He just needs an alliance. So their alliance basically gets to the point where people are split. Who are the guys? Who are the guys? You could see Paco right here, Viking, Horowitz, and O'Brien. So it's like a split, and you could see. My bad, camera stripping. So you could see how laid back Viking and Paco are, and how tense O'Brien is, right? So you could see the things are changing. Things are changing, and people are starting to look up to Paco now, and it gets to the point where they have a little feud, right? And Horowitz builds this little bomb inside of a radio in the 80s and 90s, like maybe early 90s. Yeah, I remember, if you guys remember, people used to love having their boom boxes right here and shit. Like, let me put it on this side, you guys can see. Like, their boom boxes right here, and that shit just said a boom blowing up on that fool's face. So he ends up going to fucking infirmary. Horowitz ends up going to lock up. Now it's a showdown just between Paco and O'Brien. Oh yeah, they're about to transfer out Paco too. So they know shit's getting rough. They know it's gonna happen, and bam, this is it. They end up blocking the doors so that the staff can't get in, and they end up just going at it. Like, these fools are chunking them. You know what I mean? Like this. They're all the frustration, all the anger they had inside. They're going for it. Like, they're gonna get down with each other, and it's not like playtime anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to handle their business. There's a Paco brings a shank. Shank ends up getting loose. They end up wrestling for it, right? So it's a trip. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? It ends up being O'Brien. He ends up getting the shank. Everybody's like, kill him, kill him. but he decides not to, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." He ends up just whooping the shit out of Paco and walking away. He just leaves, and this to me, this is the trippiest part right here, cause it's so representative of Let me make this bigger so you guys could see real quick of what youth incarceration is. Look, after the fight, it's back to normal. Turn off the lights, everybody go back to bed. Don't worry about it. Nothing left to see here. And that was the movie Bad Boys. So for me, I would say there's a lot of authenticity in this movie when it comes to youth offenders. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of anger. And the fight between Paco and O'Brien, when it comes to like California, I would say it's representative of a lot of gangbanging where you have two sides that have did something to each other, that have caused pain to each other, and you have people who are soldiers in those sides that are trying to fight, that are angry because of that. So they're willing to go to the extremes to punish each other. And so I seen that when I watched the movie. I seen kids who were hurting, kids who had no real direction, kids who were desperate. A lot of that. So for me, even though there were some parts that I didn't really understand, like how could they allow that to happen? Or I don't think that would happen. I would still say this is a great movie. I would definitely recommend to watch. The actors, again, a young Sean Penn, a young Isai Morales, who turned out to be great actors, like really great actors. They really killed it in this movie. And it shows a lot of what goes on inside of youth facilities, youth correctional facilities. Like youth offenders are put through a lot, and it's not once that I see how treatment was gonna help them. Not once did I see how they were being prepared to be out. Maybe there was some of that, but because that wasn't their focus, you seen it led up to all the events led up to that last fight, and that's how it is in there. The events that happen, you're not worried about pre-parole, you're not worried about treatment, you're not worried about any of that. What you're worried about is when you're gonna get off on the when you're gonna kick it off, or when you're gonna strike and all that shit. So it's a trip, man. It really is. I would say I would definitely recommend to check it out. Great movie. And with that, we out. Peace.